It is pointless to resist.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Sarlacc Digest, a podcast bringing you line talk and digesting Star Wars topics over 1,000 years. This is episode 284, being recorded on November 13th, 2024. I'm your host, Darth Moocher. Got Scott Solo.
What's up, nerds?
Grand Admiral Franz.
Hi.
Hi. Very mellow.
Very
mellow.
What's up?
Ernie, hot off the 500, will be joining us very
Viva 500
soon. I hope he's joining us soon. I keep telling him, like, come on, let's go. Anyways, finishing up the Colin Fett Chronicles over there. But of course, before we get into all the actually, there's a lot of Star Wars to talk about.
Hey, look,
you saw me. You saw me.
Ernie with the quickness today.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
I'm here.
Okay, cool.
There we
Thank
are.
you. Welcome,
All right.
Ernie.
There's
Welcome,
so much
Ernie.
drama in there. I couldn't handle
I
it
know.
anymore. My heart is
Yeah.
skipped.
I looked at Simon and I was like, it's not 8:30?
They're not almost done.
We're still in intros? Come on.
Your alarm's going to go off on your phone in like 12 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
get ready.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
man. Well, Genobi's
Hey.
coming in with a $10
Wow.
super chat. Long time no see. Star Wars. She's
Where
fist
you
pumping.
been?
Yeah, good to see you in chat. And of course, we will get everybody shouted out here quick. But Genobi kicking it off in a positive note today because we're gonna need it. I feel we're gonna need it
Oh,
on
man.
this end in this seat. We might. So We will see.
We don't even know what the topic is. Marco's keeping it on us.
I am keeping it.
So we just get to react to whatever Marco.
It's probably going to be all rainbows and unicorns.
Yeah, like what are you talking about, dude? Why? This is a happy topic.
Yeah. It might be. Before we get into all this stuff, though, I'm going to kick it over to Scott because we have our Shadow Council to thank and shout out, and everybody wants to be a part of it. Plus, everybody who's being digested in the pit. So it's your turn, Scott.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. We're here thanks to you and your support. We really appreciate you. Without you, Marco wouldn't have fancy graphics to surround him, to give him this hug that he needs as he gets all emotional.
Yeah, I'm going to need hugs tonight. And
it's
out
I
of
think
character.
we need a few more super chats so we can get a Gordon's suggestion of hyperspace effect when Ernie shoots in.
Yeah, that would be.
That's like a $12 a month right there.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
I would love it too.
Give me the snowstorm.
Yeah. And congrats on the 500, Ernie.
Yeah.
600 if at least 3 people from over here go over there right now.
We'll get that before the end of the night.
Yeah.
Dude, when you're at 1.2 million, we're still going to be celebrating your 500.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's
right.
Yeah.
So yes, a special shout out to our Shadow Council. That is AJ from the Forbidden.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Go do that right now while you're doing this.
AJ from the loudly, yes. AJ from the Forbidden Panel with a capital P on the panel now. Yay! See, that's what your money goes to, AJ. I can capitalize the P in panel now.
You get a big
Yes.
Well done.
Brandon and Anya Epler, Brian
Fancy.
C, Cliff, Crystal E, Dennis McGrath, Don the Dad Dorn, Eric Grubb, Flavy Davy, formerly of the Nerds with Attitude podcast, Gavin Connor from the Holy Hour All Cure podcast, Justin the Vanilla Thunder, Mervine Balanos, Matt Logic, Muftak is back, Nicholas Schaefer, Obi-Sean Kenobi, Papa Schmitty, Ryan, and the Star Joe's podcast. If you want to subscribe to the Shadow Council and get some give us some love, just go ahead and either scan that QR code right there or go to patreon.com/Sarlacc Digest podcast and donate a couple of bucks. It all goes back into the making of this show. Or do what Genobi did and send us a super chat. It's not a super chat. It's a super chat.
We're gonna say you would be the first one to get denture in this group.
I
I would not. That was bad.
You know what? Wow. So on top of that, we've also got We've also got some folks being digested in the pit right here. We've got did you get Commander Bly? I mean,
you know what? It's not on here, but Commander Bly
Bly
was
always
the first one. It's just not showing up in my chat to highlight it. But
then we got Gordon Skalski in there. What's up, Gordon? We got Rhino Hobbies.
Hi, Gordon.
Basil G. We've got Birthday Boy Joey.
Happy birthday, Joey.
Happy birthday to you. He has now joined me in the 50s
birthday,
club.
Darkside.
Welcome
Happy
to
birthday,
the
Joe.
50s, Joey. Yay. Mando Mike is in there. He's almost in his 60s. Hal Runner Base.
Damn, you just wanted to throw that out there real
I
quick?
did.
Yeah, he's just going through the names and it's like, this guy's 60. There
He's
he
not.
is.
I just wanted to give him
Yeah.
Don the Dad Dorn in there. We got, let's see.
And Genobi.
Genobi's in there. Thank you, Genobi. Santo1414. Gavin Connor's in there. Who else have we got? Oh, I can't wait to get the reaction to. Hey, there it is. Mando Mike.
Hey.
Yeah.
Well, nice retort, Mando. Thanks for that. We were waiting for the hey.
All right, guys. Well, everybody, welcome
man.
and get settled in because I didn't even know that there was a D23 going on in Brazil of all places. Like I knew that there was I kind of remember that was
Freshly waxed.
So yeah. So if we are seeing a bunch of announcements happening, that's coming from there's the source, right? So,
Dominic Toretto knew.
Who?
Dominic Toretto.
Oh,
Dom
yeah.
always knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dom always knows. Brazil.
But we are.
I don't understand that reference, but okay.
10 movies deep. You need to catch up here. Chris knows.
No, I don't. I've
Fast
seen
and Furious.
I've seen the first one, and that was more than enough.
I've seen them all in random orders.
Oh man.
Have you? And
But
you know what?
never,
It
like-
doesn't matter, does it? It
Not a bit.
doesn't matter. It's all the
It
same.
really doesn't.
Well, once in a while, you catch where like, wasn't that person dead a minute ago, and then they're alive? But then I'm realizing, no, that was an order.
It's just like Star Wars.
Yeah,
That's
did
why
happen.
I love it.
Yeah,
Wasn't he dead? Nope.
Nope.
came back.
Oh.
Yeah.
Somehow he returned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Genobi saying D23 in Orlando, I heard. A small one next year.
Oh.
Maybe they're going to take this on tour. It's not going to just be Anaheim. I don't know. That's something that Ernie's got to dig up.
Yeah.
And
I didn't
see.
know about I didn't know about the Brazil thing either.
Yeah.
It just kind of started popping up on Disney feed.
Exactly. Yeah. Dr. Brentley, random order is the only way to make they make sense. That's
It had to be watched that way because I'd only recently decided to watch all of them, and they're all on different streaming services.
yeah. Well,
Right,
there's an
like, you just
went
announcement
down.
because
You got to go, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to bounce one to the other. I'm going to watch all the ones on Netflix. I'm going to watch all the ones on Hulu.
are we going to have to do a Fast and Furious podcast on Thursday nights now?
No, we need to do a Penguin one, so watch it.
Yeah. Penguin one we'll have to do
Ernie, you
Beyond
watched it,
and-
didn't you?
so.
Yeah, Chris, just hop on with me, dude, and
Let's go.
we'll do a Penguin one, man. That was such an
Yeah,
amazing
I have emotional
show.
issues, and nobody will watch
I
it.
don't know.
It's not that I just haven't finished it. There's a big difference. Not like Peace. This is the Peacemaker.
You can't even let it.
I know, but it's still like it's a mob gangster show. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
No,
get how
he's
you
just sitting
couldn't
on the
get
end.
enthralled in, right?
I-
to
He
finish
is.
it.
No,
He's just
I'm
being a
in.
jackass about
I'm
it.
in. I just kind of busy.
busy.
Just kind of busy.
All right,
Kind of busy.
all right, all right.
Rating
I'll get
Diligence
there.
and shit.
Yeah.
Watch-
But anyway,
watch
guys.
Lord of the Rings for the umpteenth million time.
Well, hey, that's important. All right. Especially The Hobbit. But anyway, we are 20 days away from the Skeleton Crew,
That's awesome.
which is great
Serious?
because
Wow.
20 days. I'm ready. I'm just sitting back. I'm ready for
Man,
it.
like 3 episodes from now, and we're 2 episodes because we'll have Thanksgiving week off,
Right.
probably, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, 1 more episode until we have that show. Sweet.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
fantastic.
Yeah. Crazy. It's we're gonna have fun with it. We're gonna have fun. It's gonna be good.
Oh, I'm
It's
gonna be pissed
good.
the first episode, but fun after that.
Yeah. Good thing they're dropping 2 episodes that night. So
There you go.
yeah. So we'll be breaking that down, of course.
Which
Andor.
I do take pride in that. I know they took that from us. We taught them that. We told them
Yeah.
that from the get go. Stop
Absolutely.
doing this 1 episode.
Oh yeah.
Because you're losing the fans.
The next
Dude,
thing
get to the
will
point. And they have.
Well, the next thing they'll be like, here's all of it at once because Sarlacc said it's going to work better.
That's right. Yes. That's
Yeah.
totally what they need. With one that's like the Acolyte, if it's gonna in any way sniff
Yeah.
any kind of
Yeah.
oddity, controversy.
Yeah.
Just
Just
put it all
throw it
out.
all out there. Let
That's
everybody
it.
consume it and get it
Yeah.
out
Screw
all at
everybody.
one talk. So, April 22nd, Andor season 2 premieres. We got the date. They dropped like a little, it was like a teaser of a teaser. And from the things I saw, it looked great. I'm all in on Andor. It looks very Empire heavy again. Very, you're getting some stuff. There was a shot, and I don't know if it's real or fake. It's probably fake, but it did have Vader in some sort of capacity, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, we're getting closer to Rogue One, which we're getting closer to Krennic and then Tarkin and the
Yeah.
Death Star, and
So-
Krennic's in,
Krennic's
so
in.
I'm all in.
Yeah.
Krennic is probably my favorite addition to the Empire since
Yeah.
the originals. It's
Yeah.
over Gideon, all of that. Krennic is amazing.
Yeah.
I think that would be good. I think Palpatine is the one we should get.
Palpatine would be
Palpatine needs to
amazing.
show up somewhere.
Yeah.
We should be
I'm-
dealing in the politics in the Senate, dealing with
Yeah.
all that. Mon Mothma and Palpatine having a Emperor to Mon Mothma
Woo!
argument would be cool.
Well, yeah, my prediction on that, I know that as we get closer to it, we'll start diving into Andor. So, but my prediction with the Palpatine thing would be a hologram addressing the galaxy.
That'd be
That's
cool.
probably like almost like how we got in the Acolyte, right?
I could see it, but I would want a combo.
I did too.
Like we did in episode 3 with them in the
I
Senate
100% want
going
that.
for it, but at the same time, flash into different places where you could see him on their TVs or their holoscreens.
Yeah.
Giving the speech. That would be.
Well,
Because I definitely
we
want to see
know-
him live with people.
we
Right.
know he's not beyond gearing up for these shows. He was in Obi-Wan, right? I mean, he was in the
Yeah.
final episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi. So let's go.
I'm
That was
ready. I'm ready.
Probably filmed around the same time as Andor season 2. So.
Yeah, Mando didn't even know there was an Andor season 2 because he's been working so much. Come on, dude.
Do you not watch this show?
Yeah, I don't think he does.
You even Sarlacc, bro?
He just comes in for the chat.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's
Exactly.
trolling,
Julie.
he's trolling for babes in the chat.
He just comes in for the abuse that I dole out and
what is this? how runner base. How Mando. There's going to be 5 seasons. Yeah, Mando. There's 5 full seasons of it. Andor. Because he doesn't know. Because he doesn't.
He doesn't understand.
All
Well, this
right.
is going to be 12 episodes, and each 3 episodes is a year.
It's
Is that what it
something
was?
like that. It's every 3 episodes is gonna be a block of time leading up
Yeah.
to the opening of Rogue One.
Yeah.
And and from things that I've heard, again, this is all hearsay, right? The creators that be, the actors involved, they're like, just the greatest script ever made, blah blah blah. But you know what? We take those and we put them aside. We do. I do.
I'm done with all
Even
of them.
though,
I'm done with
well,
actors.
even though the hype around most projects are always there, they're not gonna say
Yeah.
this was kind of shitty, but you guys are gonna enjoy it anyway. They're never gonna say that, right?
Not
So-
until after.
yeah, not till after where they start pointing fingers.
Oh
and be
man,
like,
I can't believe we did that and told you guys it was going to be great. You're such a.
I can't believe the fans. They just don't. The fans ruined it.
Yeah, we were so happy. We had
Yeah.
fun making it. Why didn't you guys love it?
yeah, right. Yeah.
I saw it going differently.
I saw that going different, right?
So
What happened?
with the whole D23 Brazil thing going on, out of left field, but kind of like, okay, another trilogy was dropped into our lap as far as like, hey guys, we're doing another trilogy, and we have Simon Kinberg signed on to it to direct, produce, write, whatever. And if you guys don't know who Simon Kinberg is, look up the X-Men franchise, even Dark Phoenix and Apocalypse, and that's the dude that's because those were so huge, successful, got the fandom excited movies that they, of course, why not tap him for? It's either they know something we don't know, or they're, they think a success is different what we think is success. But the notion of, first off, before we get into his stuff and what this whole stuff is, all the projects that came and they took the rug from underneath it and then put the rug back in and stuff.
Yeah.
They're gonna throw another trilogy announcement, not saying, look, we're years off or whatever. It's just another trilogy that X, so and so is going to make. We have the Ryan Johnson, we have Taika Waititi, we have so many projects out there that
Ray
none of
Jenkins,
it.
Lando.
I mean, come on. So, and that's why it's making me nervous that this one has more ground than those past ones, because I think they have an overall plan, and I will get to that later. But what do you guys feel about just them always announcing projects and then we don't see anything come to fruition on these?
I feel like we approached this a couple weeks ago where we were like, you know what? Just wait until it's in production.
Yeah.
Then make the announcement. Let's not make this announcement, with okay, we've got a writer, we've got a director. We're gonna start filming this in 2 years. And
yeah.
then
Why
it-
would
then
they
gets
announce it, do you
canceled
think?
because-
Like, why would they come out today or this week and say we're going to do it? You know what I mean? Like, what's their what do you guys think the purpose would be?
There is some excitement behind. I mean, Simon Kinberg, he's I'm trying to look up his directorial credits, but I'm seeing executive producer on
Phoenix was his
Deadpool
first
and Wolverine.
directorial.
Deadpool and Wolverine. He did work on Rebels. I mean, so
Yeah.
that's cool. I don't know what he did in Rebels. I'm trying to figure it out while we're talking, but he does have some pretty good Star Wars cred if he was involved in a lot of Rebels. But I do know that it looks like he directed Spark of Rebellion, the first episode.
Oh, it's totally the first episode too.
Yeah.
Shit.
Until Kanan whipped out the lightsaber and
No.
Yeah, no, I did see he had some Star Wars twining things, but again, his directorial debut, I believe, was Dark Phoenix.
that's not a good thing.
No, and he's, like I said, he's not just he's supposed to write, produce, and direct this. Like, he's supposed to be and the same thing with Mangold, right? And the same thing with Taika and Ryan Johnson. They're all tapped to write, direct, produce.
Well, I think Taika was removed. I don't think that he is.
He's done. I think he's done. The word was trash, but I don't think there's been an official. They don't officially remove shit.
No, they don't.
He was the co-creator and executive producer for all of Carrie Beck's, Simon Kinberg, and Dave Filoni created Rebels and executive produced all of Rebels.
So that's
So-
a win.
Okay.
That's a win.
But
Well-
here's the thing about the announcement thing you're asking, right?
Yes.
It's weird with Star Wars because since Disney took over, they announced the trilogy, the sequel trilogy, and we got that. They've announced I don't know how many other movies. The only ones that
Yeah.
actually made it, Rogue One wasn't announced. That came out of left field, right? Solo came out of left
No, it was
field.
announced.
Oh yeah, right
Rogue-
before it came out, but there was things in front of it that got trashed
No.
before it. Is what I'm saying. No, dude,
Yeah.
it wasn't. Rogue One came out of nowhere. There was Boba Fett. There was a Jabba movie. There was all these things they were talking about. Rogue One came out of left field a year before it came out. It was already going.
The original, I want to say it was the original D23 of the first celebration. They showed us a teaser trailer of just a jungle with a like rebel helmet, and it said Rogue One. So it was in the works, and it was announced pretty early on after the Disney acquisition.
But there was a slate, and that one wasn't on the original slate. That wasn't well. Either way, forget. But Solo popped out of nowhere. Mandu and Grogu popped out of nowhere. When there's 20 different things on the slate, we just don't get.
It was that
Whether it be
second
Old Republic
generation
stuff,
of
sequel stuff, all this shit.
yeah.
And they
It
just
was
keep
that.
announcing it.
It was
Stop.
like that. The success of like Disney Plus and all that stuff. It was that second wave of like,
Yeah.
here's what's behind me and all these projects. And
trying
we
to
got
do
a
this
couple
Marvel
of them.
slate, when Marvel doesn't even really do a great job with their slate anymore, and that's what they were trying to replicate was that, and they haven't been able to, and they just need to stop.
I
let it
just
come out a year in advance. We know what's going on. Boom, be
Yeah.
out, and just do it that way instead of hey, here's our 8-year plan. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
about your 8-year
Well,
plan.
Brantley's giving us some insight on why they may announce something this early is because he says they announce names because they have to pay them. You can't hire Kinberg without putting it in the trade papers and making a big deal. If his work sucks a year or two down the road, it goes quietly away. Okay, but it was just kind of like this hype train. This is what we're tapping him to do this thing. And for us, like I said, but for the fans, like sitting back going like, come on, guys. And the chat says this too. It's like, and we've been saying this. It's not a thing until it's a thing. The stuff that you've been pulling the rug from, and again, some of those projects, we love that the rug has been pulled, but the fact that it doesn't give us confidence in the room that they're sitting in, and they're announcing all these projects and stuff that they want to do with Star Wars. It doesn't give us any kind of confidence that they're either going to rush things out or they're just going to, that doesn't work. And there's so much turmoil and everything. And I'm just kind of going like with Genobi's comment here. Do you think they are done with the TV series for a while? I think that's why they're announcing these things, because I think they're trying to get us more excited to go back into the theaters. I think they're going to do a balance of both. I don't know if we're going to they're going to lean on Disney Plus as much as theatrical releases. I think Mando Grogu is the test. That's going to be the one to see if people go back and see Star Wars as a Star Wars movie, or is it just going to be like, oh, that was a blockbuster hit and no one's talking about it after. That's a very important thing about Star Wars and then just sci-fi movies, right? So that's going to be the test to go back to the theater, and we might see all these other projects follow suit if that is a huge success. If not, I think we're going to see more of this rug pulling stuff, go ahead.
I was going to say Simon Kinberg, he's directed 3 things. He directed an episode of The Twilight Zone. He directed something called The 355 and then X-Men Dark Phoenix. Those are the only 3 things he's directed. Yeah. Everything else has been producer or executive producer or writer.
My first reaction to it, again, you can have some good things on that slate, but there are also some that X-Men franchise. Besides the very first two X-Men, I think it was.
But you're talking about when he was stuck in, he was already, that universe was well established, right? Yeah. From the look to everything, he couldn't move a whole lot of it.
I want to say this though, but before you guys go on with the from what I've been hearing, that he was praised for bringing money to the table with that franchise, and that's what they looked at. There wasn't a fact of it was a cohesive story or what he did with what did those characters justice or whatever it is, the stuff that we look at as a fandom. He was praised at the table like, look, you made money for us. Now that's my fear about this new direction and new trilogy, because it's a trilogy that he's tapped to do, that Disney is switching gears to a point of we need to make money and make a just make Star Wars films like the X-Men films that really kind of separate themselves to the lore. I mean, they're really separated in ways. They're close, but there's, that's my fear of what that their mindset is going to go towards. Like,
well, if they're giving him a space in the future,
and that's why
post Rey movie, right?
Yeah,
and it's fine because you don't have.
Well, it's fine. It's fine for us because again, there could be a line in the sand drawn, and it's drawn by Disney, Lucasfilm at this point. It's a line in the sand going, okay, from this point, we've given them Ahsoka, Mandalorian, all this stuff, and all the fandom did was, it was volatile, it was great, it was sucked, it's great, it sucked, and all these things. We're playing with legacy characters now. With this line in the sand, meaning like we're going to go forward to this with brand new characters. It says, yes, the Rey movie is supposed to bridge this Kinberg trilogy, and it's supposed to be far into the future, and with brand new characters, brand new everything. My feelings on it is that it's a line in the sand, meaning what you just said. It's safe, right? They can do whatever they want. It's a brand new slate. It's a brand new thing. What can we complain about? Nothing, because the legacy is all done. They'll probably go a different direction with lore, all that things. Now, the way I see it is that whole sentiment of bring money to the table, just make Star Wars films. Who cares about anything else but just the tag Star Wars, and make 7, 8, 10 films in that area that you can, branch off. Maybe this one doesn't make sense as much, and just like the X-Men, stuff. And I'm solely basing it on the X-Men stuff, like that, though his work on that.
May I share screen real quick?
Yeah, please.
I'm going to bring up his IMDb just so we can all see where he's coming from as a writer. Okay. So we're looking at the Mr. and Mrs. Smith movie, and then the dude wrote X-Men: The Last Stand, right? That should disqualify him right there.
I agree.
Sherlock Holmes was fine. Days of Future Past, the Fantastic Four movie.
It doesn't even matter which one.
Yeah,
no,
it exactly doesn't matter which
one.
X-Men Apocalypse.
Yeah.
X-Men Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Rebels, which 74 credits to his name there for Rebels. So I mean, he's got that's good. I mean, that's
a
great.
plus. That's a column and a
right.
plus. I get it. Yeah.
Dark Phoenix, Twilight Zone, the 355 Invasion, and the Mr. and Mrs. Smith TV show. 8 episodes of that.
Yeah.
So
So he did the movie and the show. I didn't know that. That was wild.
Yeah, the movie and the show. But I mean, X-Men: The Last Stand. I mean, he wrote both Dark Phoenix X-Men movies, right? And neither one of them really worked.
No.
Yeah.
But
so,
the studio's response to those movies that we say didn't work were acceptable. That's what makes me nervous about it. Was it made money? It just pushed the franchise to it's like they didn't care about the connections. They didn't care that it was anything close to what the MCU did when it was just an X-Men movie, and it did its thing, and none of the characters really progressed. It was like point A. Well, it's like a Star Trek film. It's like it just was like a cool adventure A to Z. Nobody really progressed. And that's where it's like, well, I know that I could speak for a lot of Star Wars fans. That's not what we look for Star Wars for, because we put it in our lore and our canon, and we talk about everything that goes on. If Rey came from like the desert dweller and she saved it and then went back to Jakku and went back to scavenging and stuff, but that's where I feel okay. There was no character progression there. That's the kind of thing that I'm worried about when it comes to like mediocre Star Wars stories. Now I could be completely wrong, and I hope I am, that they have a direction. They have a Rey movie that's bridging this new generation, and this new generation is really going to take off. And
how I could see it is if they do this Rey thing, it's 15 years post the trilogy, right?
Yes.
So we finally get a little bit of a time jump. She's starting a new Jedi Order. You get that established in movie 1. Right. And then you give Kinberg a trilogy on the new Jedi Order that was established.
That's basically
and that's where it goes. And then that's your plan. That's your plan. Cool. It is kind of neat, I think, that they gave somebody a trilogy again, right? Because they tried that with Johnson, that never panned out. That was the only one that, instead of splitting up director, they're giving them a trilogy. I think that's important that we get something like that. So, I'm just not excited about anything they announce until I see it. I've got
number one.
I've got less and less excited about the Old Republic, the original Jedi stuff, as time's gone on, because there's no news about it at all. So
we're not getting it. I don't think we're getting it anymore.
Because by the time it comes up, it's old news.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's just lame.
Yeah.
I 3-year-old news finally happening.
I know. Welcoming Kicking Bird, and of course Crystal E is in the chat also. Yeah, Chris, that's where I'm kind of at where now they're announcing this trilogy and all these things where it's like, Rogue Squadron's back, and it's like this time frame. Okay, cool. Rey movie. All right, well, it's a time frame after the sequels, and a new trilogy. It's like, well, you know something, we're never going to go back to the old Republic and stuff, and that's where I'm like, in my head, and this is personal. Do I just, from this time point on, don't delve into that area of Star Wars and just keep this area going? I know
delve into it.
Not that I'm gonna see it, but the fact if it's gonna lose, if my interest is already waning on the sequel stuff.
Just gotta have less expectation.
It's not even that anymore. It's almost like the relatability and
no, there's no connection anymore.
Yeah,
it's just there, and there's not a connection.
And I think that's where my conflict comes from. Again, it could be great for the Star Wars franchise in general, right? But for me, and hey, and
that's what we were talking about a little while ago, about the Beetlejuice, and
right,
Busters and things like that. We just don't get the same feel.
Seems disconnected.
We don't get that nostalgia. We don't, because it's not new. When we get the nostalgia, when we hear William's theme. Yeah, that's when we hit the nostalgia. When we see the titles come up, that's when we get the nostalgia. Yep. Beyond that, it's all unrecognizable.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I mean, the sequels had recognizable elements to it, but it did seem disconnected in certain ways.
But it had the right soundtrack to keep me nostalgic, especially the first one, right? It had the right character. It played enough pieces. Going forward, now we won't have that.
No. Like I said, it's just a whole new ballgame.
In and Chewie. I mean, that's nice, but that's a Muppet cameo.
I honestly think
it's nothing.
Because they say all new characters, I don't think there's going to be any characters. No Chewie. No.
I thought they said doesn't mean that you won't run into some.
Maybe, but yeah.
So that begs the question: is this going to be considered a Skywalker trilogy? I mean, she did adopt the name, or is it?
I don't think it'll be her trilogy. I think this is going to be like she'll set it up. And then poof, it'll go into their stories, their movies.
As far as
the Rey one,
as far as the Rey movie,
once in a while.
She was not the lead role in the Rey's character. Wasn't the driven force beyond. We call it the Rey movie, but she had a very not a major part, but a part into it. That's in that New Jedi Order movie that they're doing. Okay, Rey's in it, but it's not about her. Okay, that's what I heard from day one about that movie. She's in it. She has a role to play, but it's not about her.
It's just setting up the Jedi.
So actually, this the trilogy that goes forward on it, and we did say, hey, let's go forward, but Grogu's, and so I get that, but their admittance of this is all new, it's going to be like brand new and everything. I feel like it's going to be they're really unplugging it, and the whole money thing kind of hits me a little bit wrong. Meaning, let's just get Star Wars to very like a 50-50 rating. These are C+ movies. These are nothing that's character driven. People really don't talk about them, but they're just a kind of a fun ride. Kind of like the X-Men movies. You know what I mean? Like even though they're a ride.
Yeah, I was thinking that when you were going through it, I'm like, I don't really want to bash these X-Men movies because I'll watch.
I hate them.
I hate them right now.
No,
I'll put them on and be fine.
Besides after X-Men 3, it all went downhill for me.
I think X-Men First Class was fantastic.
Well,
X-Men First Class was great. Yeah. After that, they got progressively worse, but X-Men First Class was great.
First Class was good, but it just was like they did their own things, I know there's talk about episodes 10, 11, 12. I know that they did confirm. There was confirmation of people on Twitter and stuff that said this is not an episode 10, 11, 12. That's how first.
The episodes are done.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with the Skywalker saga. That's done, and that's it. And so, even the Old Republic stuff isn't Skywalker saga stuff. So but
I don't understand the reluctance to go back into the past. I honestly don't. There's thousands and thousands of years to tell Jedi stories. In the past, you can get away from the High Republic, you can get away from everything. You go into the Old Republic, introduce new characters, introduce familiar names, and move forward.
Yeah,
in the past, right?
They've teased us twice so far. Between TT's was supposed to be back there, and the other one, I forget who was doing it now.
Mangold
doing the initial Jedi, right? We're teased twice.
I think
the reluctance though with Acolyte is probably what happened, but Acolyte wasn't a time frame issue.
No, Acolyte, it was a whole different thing. That was but so the things that we've been hearing was these tie-ins, right? So you had the Mandoverse going and it culminates with Dave Filoni's movie to kind of end that era of stuff. Now that is still on the table, still going. We're gonna see that through.
And all leads up to the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, and exactly. And the New Jedi Order and Mangold's movie, there was going to be elements of it tying into each other, and then now this trilogy that is going forward is going to be a thing. And I do think because of that, I think this one has more weight to be rather than Rian Johnson's, than any other film. I think we're going to see these probably within 5 years, but we'll see these first before we see anything else. Because I think that's where the direction they want to go. They want to get out of that.
I think it has to be Rey. Is that what you mean? You mean the future ones first?
I meant like the Rey will definitely be first. But as far as like this announced trilogy, I think holds more weight than all the other announced failures that they've, like I said, pulled the rug.
Because Rey's the catapult. But here's the thing.
And it's a new era they want to go in.
What if the Rey movie fails?
I think they want to go into a era of almost starting over. And if this is, like I said, if we're going to write a trilogy with nothing to do with anything that we just saw, that's their goal no matter what. So if Rey movie can fail and they still have a goal of putting Star Wars on a screen.
Yeah, but a movie failing like that will just do damage to the name brand in the first place.
Yeah.
My question is the Rey movie even? I mean, who knows if it's going to happen or not because they keep having writers drop out. I honestly thought that the Simon Kinberg thing was picking up that torch and running with that, right?
Right.
But apparently not. So is it even necessary to touch those characters again, or can we just move into the future?
Well,
tell a story post Rey with a new Jedi Order. You know what I mean?
But I also think the Rey movie can also bridge the sequel stuff too. Like there's stuff in the sequel that can
move forward without it. Just go far enough where you don't even have to deal with it. Like we've all talked about.
Well, again, remember it's not just about her, right? It's the overall Star Wars galaxy, the state of the galaxy kind of stuff,
right? Yeah. But to play devil's advocate, you don't need Rey for that. You can use Grogu for that.
I think they have I think on paper they have a plan. They have we have point A, point B, and the way to do it, we have one movie to bridge it, and then we start this brand new adventure.
And what I saw today was they see Rey as their most bankable character.
Yeah. Rey is the one that nobody argues about, except for the Mary Sue stuff. But I think that has dwindled a lot.
I think using Skywalker name still sucks. I mean,
too.
I dealt with it because it was the end of that movie, the end of that saga, the end of everything. The problem is going to be moving forward with that name. Right now, I'm going to be in a whole other movie with Rey Skywalker, and that's going to bug me.
Yeah,
but I mean, that's not it. They just see her as the most bankable character. I would say outside of Grogu, but you can't. I don't know that you can handle a Grogu-led movie. It has to have Mando, right?
Not at this time. It has to be like 500 years.
Yeah, that has to be
on the line.
Yeah, right. That's the thing. And even then, you really need a human to anchor the movie.
Of course.
And there's nothing saying that a Mandalorian Grogu couldn't have a human counterpart in the future to drive a movie forward.
True.
It could even, I mean, he is a Force user. There's no reason why he couldn't be. Wouldn't it be a twist if he ended up being the villain of the series, leading the Mandalorians against the Jedi? I mean,
well, yeah,
I want Grogu to be evil one day.
Of course you do.
We have a lot of talk of. We started with, would it be cool if? That should be like a book, right? Our life with Star Wars. Would it be cool if? And it's like chapter over chapter of like all these things that that would be a good what if or a certain point of view book that we can write as fans. We could do.
What if? Why didn't we?
Yeah, Dr. Brantley. Yeah,
Dr. Brantley. They're going to call her Master Skywalker, and I'm going to lose it.
Same, dude.
Well,
It's
Ernie,
like, I want none of that.
Ernie, what do you think? Do you think
What do you know, Ernie?
moving? Yeah, first off, what do you know? And then what do you think about moving into a generation of Star Wars that might lose us, but it's keeping the torch of Star Wars moving forward? I don't know.
I'm out now because the Mando Grogu movie, Paul gets force powers. And so now, like, yeah.
Confirmed.
Yeah.
Everybody has the effing force.
He lifts an X-Wing off of Grogu and throws it at the
He's
Emperor.
such a Mary Sue. He's
It's
such
crazy.
a Mary Sue.
Right. No, I'm not for it. And we've had this conversation before. And the part that I'm not for is all this announcing again.
Yeah,
you're right. I mean, all of us, like we said, and I'm just gathering all our thoughts together. Yes, the whole showing that huge slate was ridiculous because that's not happening. We need, at this time, it should move to one face, and that should be Filoni. Filoni should be the one, and I don't mean running what I mean is he's our face to come out and say, hey, guys, this is coming up next.
Yeah.
Skeleton Crew at the end. This is what we got. It's going to be a fun adventure. Can't wait for you guys to see it.
I agree.
Then after that, Andor season 2. Like, we need one face. And we need same thing with Marvel. That should just be Feige, not other people coming out and saying stuff. I love and I hate the time that we're in because of social media now. You're getting the hate backlash. We had it there, but it was between us, and nothing happened. Now you feel like this announcement of names, like I understand what Dr. Brantley is saying as far as the payday, but to me now we are at the moment of they all complained we canceled this, we did this. Like, it's really, I'm sorry, it really is happening. Where they're saying, there won't be a season 2. We're like, that was unheard of that. They didn't even announce a season 2. What are you talking about? And everybody runs with this now. So I feel it's like, and it's right here of what's happening. Chris and Chris and I forgot who in the chat, I love the X-Men movies. You guys are like, no, I hate them. This is where I feel like they announce it, so they're getting a tester out there, right? What are the fans saying right now? Are we going to roll with this or we're not? Because they took off Taika Waititi immediately. Everybody's like, this dude ain't funny. His thing's bomb. We're cutting that. Do you get what I'm saying? It feels like all like a test. So that's where, at this point now, let Filoni be the face.
Feels like nobody's at the helm, right?
Correct.
Like,
he says what's going on. This is what's coming next, and you slowly let things out. Yeah. Maybe we'll get a picture, a leak of a set. Oh my God, does this look like a Star Wars movie to you? And that's all we need. Like, get us really hyped again. I get where you guys are saying, where they're saying that, it's got to be different or whatever, and we're getting away from everything. I don't like that because no matter what, all of the Star Wars that we have right now is tied into each other. No matter what, even if it's gently or anything. So we got Mando and Grogu, kind of like, oh my God, this is off, but we've tied it right back to Rebels. We have Hera there. We have, Ahsoka. There has been something to bring it around, which is great. That is good.
Yeah.
But we do need to continue our story with everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you need an anchor in each move, right? Like every time you go, like we did with like High Republic, I always Yoda had to be the anchor. You had to have somebody that was recognizable to keep it going.
So to tie it all together.
So each of these
not a whole meaning. We don't need that. We don't need the Skywalker thing. Andor is a great show.
A recognizable anchor in there.
What did we see? We know that they're fighting for the rebellion, and how cool was that to get the reveal of the Death Star? Like we knew we had to see it, but we see it like, oh my God, that's what the parts are for. That's so cool. Again, a quick little tie-in. Even though we know this whole Rebel Alliance is being built, you get what I'm saying? Like you can keep it separate, but you still need to tie it in.
Yeah.
And now having to say that. What?
I'm sorry. I think it's got to move past the Skywalkers in order to survive.
Well, I know. And so what sucks though is that you did call Rey Skywalker.
See, there's my point.
So,
right there. But there's my kind of a point where I agree and fearful of that, Scott. Where
I feel the only way that it's going to work is you can't call her it no more.
But here's the thing, guys. Like, you move past the sky. I know that
don't
we
call
want to
her
move
that.
past the
Yeah,
Skywalker saga. It's not going to be Star Wars.
So, but I'm
You
saying
know?
it was said and it was
Yeah.
there, right? So okay, I'm Rey Skywalker. Okay,
Yeah.
if you're going to go forward with this movie and everything else, then you just call her Rey, and you
It's-
leave that there.
Or her papers didn't come through, and they, she has to drop it.
The adoption papers.
yeah,
But
exactly.
no, I mean honestly, in the whole movie, you can definitely just call her Rey. It doesn't
Yeah,
have to be
sure.
Master
We did for
Skywalker.
three.
Yeah.
Right.
But we will
Yeah,
know.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it can
no.
just be Rey,
Oh,
and that's
Oh
it.
no.
So,
Yeah, I'll know your last name. Yeah.
okay, so but to counterpoint Marco, moving away from the Skywalker saga takes away from it being Star Wars. We had comic book series that that were very successful, that told amazing stories, that felt Star Warsy.
Look,
Without
define very
tying
successful,
characters.
Scott. Very successful
for-
is not you dug it.
yeah.
Very successful would mean mainstream stuff, and I don't think that comic book
No,
The
no.
Old Republic was mainstream successful. The nerds know it.
I would
The
say
nerd- but
the last.
at the same time, you've got comic books that have been turned into movies successfully through Marvel. Granted, it's like apples and oranges, superhero versus Star Wars.
Yeah,
No.
But
But here's the thing. I know I speak on two sides here because I love Old Republic stuff and nothing to do with the Skywalker saga, but you can actually see Star Wars in it. Like they actually there's referencing things that we can see familiar, even that's a video game versus the movies and stuff.
some of it straight up carbon copied.
Yeah, no,
Right? Like
100%, and no word of Skywalker or anything. And now here's the thing: this might just be a personal thing for me, and you guys know this about me, where I could say, "Hey, look, we lived in this time frame of the Skywalker saga so much. Now, if they don't use it, is that still Star Wars to me? Even though it's still Tatooine and Coruscant and all these familiar locations, but Star Wars is more than just a galactic conflict and Force." Sith and Jedi. It's Anakin's rise and redemption, whole story and stuff. And maybe I'm just trying to hold on to that package of Star Wars, that when these things start expanding, like when Disney starts to really flesh out the world, even like Scott said, yeah, we had comics and novels, but most of those were Skywalker. I mean,
to Scarif Scuttlebutt's point, no, I did not say High Republic was successful. That's a shit show from the get-go.
No,
I'm talking about the old Dark Horse comics like Knights of the Old Republic. We're talking about Tales of the Jedi,
but
those
again,
types of comics
define
that have
success,
a huge...
dude.
Yeah.
I bet you High Republic
But-
outsold that.
maybe, yeah.
So you're
Maybe.
defining success as what you like.
And that's why, and I guess that's where
That's
I'm
the-
coming
that's what
from
we
on
gotta
my
do,
bubble, right, Chris? Like this is where I'm coming from. Like my thing is it's yes, I think they put too much into the Skywalker saga, but now that they're talking about getting away from it, I'm like, no, yeah, I want.
Here's the problem. Would you consider Andor the Skywalker saga?
Yes,
That's what's hard though, right? Because Andor has no trace of a Skywalker.
It doesn't matter. It's the time frame. It's
okay. That's what we're talking about. Then the time frame, because that's hard
that's
because
like
yeah,
Mandoverse
this is the time I like.
Skywalker
I like the Galactic Empire. I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the Empire time. I like the growth of the Empire. Not so much even just Vader himself, but just this
Yeah.
time in the galaxy. And to just repeat that somewhere is what you're going to have to do, right? You're going to have some galactic conflict, some political issues.
Even the books went there again.
I know
And-
with what's his name, was he Valorum, like an ancestor, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they use the
Yeah.
same damn names.
Yeah, now again, guys, I do want to say, hey, we're talking this openly. We're just shooting it because we have no information to go by and what if they're really going to distance themselves. But my thing is, I feel sometimes that because of all the stuff that they've been putting out, and sometimes if it doesn't work, they blame us for these things. So I am fearful of the fact of mediocreness coming into play.
The guilt I have for them blaming me.
Yeah, so
Shit
it's
not
the
working.
mediocreness that comes into play with Star Wars, and that's where I go, okay, well, that's when Star Wars just becomes a face. It's no longer talked about. It's just these movies that everybody's tired with. Yes, they might still make money, but it's not special anymore. It's just a cool sci-fi movie after that, and maybe that's the direction it goes. Who knows? But that's, again, this is me. Yeah, I'm only speaking for myself on that as far as like how I feel about moving away from this bubble, the Mandoverse
Yeah.
and stuff.
But we can, like you said, there are things people like. There are good things in the past. There are Old Republic that people like. You can go there. You can
100%,
100%. Get away from the truth. But it all should, at some point, because the Skywalker saga is this piece of the Force and good and evil. It's going to link there somewhere, right? It's just kind of no matter what you do, no matter how far you go from the Skywalker saga. To your point, the Skywalker saga is Star Wars. So
yes, it is. And like I said, Rey does not bridge that. That character does not propel that. It just doesn't.
Could.
I just it's removed. It's removed itself, and you're only by title of familiarity now at this point, and you're not. It's not a direct involvement now.
Even though she has the saber, she has the name, she has the Falcon, she has the Wookiee, she has the droids. She doesn't carry it.
You know what? It might even be the same kind of result if she was a Kenobi. You know what I mean? But Kenobi is a direct result of the Skywalker saga, even though she's a Palpatine. But again,
I honestly,
she's from a clone.
I honestly feel that if we did not have the ending to the sequel trilogy that we had, we would be having necessarily this discussion.
You're 100% right.
It's the Rise of Skywalker that really screwed that sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Yes, I know there's debates about The Last Jedi, whatever, but honestly, they did not land the plane when it came to the sequel trilogy.
There should have been. Okay, here's the thing, guys. At this point, there should have been children that carried over to a new generation. Skywalker, Leia, and Han. There should be children just like Heir of the Empire, or all the books and comics that propelled all that stuff. There should have been that. Then you keep that bubble of the Skywalker saga intact, right? Maybe I'm just holding on to something.
They cut the kids down to one, made him the bad guy, didn't let him redeem him,
and you killed him.
Or redeemed him.
And you killed him. You killed every.
You killed the best character in the effing trilogy.
Yeah,
I feel like they gave it to us, and I am sorry to say this because I thought about this. You know, we've had so many announcements, we've had so many cancels. Being a Disney fan and then like going there all the time to Batu, like it is fun, but we always talk about, God, why can't we just switch it to the original trilogy, right?
Because we hold on to it, man.
And they won't. We hold on to it. You're right. I can honestly see with this announcement and them canceling and then like that. What if they just pull, like you said, the carbon copy, but they make it Disney for themselves? Rey all of a sudden is pregnant. She doesn't know where it is. No, I'm being honest. Like I'm being honest.
No, I wouldn't put
this next movie coming up is Rey gets pregnant. We don't know where this baby is from. And we get to a year, like a jump, right? And you're not supposed to talk about, and they showed us this with the stranger and him. You're not supposed to talk about the bad guys, you know, about the Sith. And the Sith was the Emperor and Vader. We don't mention them, you know, that's a myth. It's the Jedi ways, and they get a chance to restart this whole thing, but make it the Disney way.
Yeah.
Because then we don't have to show them or tie them in, and you get your own.
Well, that's
Skywalker.
Exactly.
You get your new like this. Correct. They're going to try to make it their own because for some reason, whether it's licensing or not, even though they spent $4 billion to buy everything, they don't want to give it back to us. They give us these little tastes in this. Look, we're doing the Star Wars thing. Your Boba Fett is now the Mandalorian. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like they've done it. We can run it correct.
Everything is a copy.
I'm saying like this is their chance to come and start a whole new movie situation over. It's been years now. They're like these old guys are going to die soon anyways. So what? Mm-hmm. And we make Rey pregnant. You can't talk about the Sith, who is Vader and Palpatine, so that's there. Like we have that to tie in, okay. And you started all over, carbon copy of the stories we know, but now it's just Disney side with their characters.
You're not wrong because I think again, you know, we've said this before. Yes, there are generation of fans that grow up with Star Wars and everything, but say let's just fast forward 100 years, I don't think you have a Batu anymore. It's something completely different. It was like something that we did from a generation that loved these movies, and it just, you know, didn't do it. And the proof is the sequels where it didn't hit those marks. Yes, it was bad. There was some very bad writing and decisions and continuity and all that stuff. But the fact is that it will, like Chris said in the beginning, it didn't capture us. It's not holding that magic formula that we grasped it onto the original trilogy, even the prequels at this point, to propel a future of Star Wars. And I said this a long time ago with my personal journey with Star Wars is almost like it dies with me. And if I'm not around to see the last Star Wars movie, then I don't care, because that last Star Wars movie is not going to be any good. You know, it's not going to matter, because it's not going to affect Anakin, Scott, Luke, Leia, all those saga that we've lived in. You know, even like I said, Andor, it's not going to affect that. You know,
well, bro, they've killed them all already. They've killed Han.
But we're still playing in that sandbox.
Look, they showed that they can take the original crew, copy it, and make it successful, because that was Rebels.
Yeah.
Right. Even though it had connections to the original trilogy, had they put that Rebel crew 50 years ahead, not connected to the rebellion, but something else, right?
It would.
You have to call them Rebels, Ghost Crew, whatever. It still would have worked. Those characters would have worked with a different storyline. So they can do it. Just how many times can you do that? Because we just tried to do it twice. The trilogy didn't work. Yeah. Right. Because
Chris, it's still funny.
Trying to recreate these guys, it didn't happen. But the Ghost Crew is.
You're right, though. But what's still funny is those characters that we see are still original Star Wars concept art that was supposed to happen, and they turned it into theirs. So you know what I mean? Like, so they keep doing this. Like, you're right. Like, they have the idea, they have the characters there, and they still took it. Right, but they put it here, like, what is that?
40 side by side with the crew.
Yeah, that's not what Chewbacca was supposed to be like. Well, let's use them, and here he is.
Like I said, this 40, 50 years that we play in the Skywalker, that we call the Skywalker saga, right? In that thing, they're very respectful of Ralph McQuarrie, George Lucas stuff. There are things that get put in that, and now, like, but to Ernie's point was like, and like I said, and it kind of goes into Kinberg, even though, like I said, he did work on Rebels, he was there, and if he, I don't know some of the stuff, but again, my personal feeling is that how he handled X-Men was like, this movie and this movie really don't talk to each other, but they do and they don't. Who cares? Doesn't matter as long as it makes money. And that's where that's my fear. It might not be,
but he did that in a very comic book sort of way, right? Because if you read comic book arcs, the comic book arcs don't necessarily, they harken back to moments, but they don't really talk to each other. And that all has to
and like I told you, this MCU spoiled it for everybody with the with 10 years and 22 movies of like every movie matters and it meant something.
At the end of every movie teaches you about the next movie.
That spoiled me, where I was like, that should be a IP playbook at this point, because it worked. It really worked. And for them to kind of like sprinkle, we're gonna have 5 movies, and these 5 movies, they all kind of like have the Star Wars umbrella, and this character might be in this one and this one, but this storyline and this storyline contradict and conflict, or it's a new version of it. And I do want to say this though, like Rhino Hobby said, did Taika lose Star Wars because of his Hitler movie? No, he lost it because he's not funny. And he thinks he's funny, and I think that he was going to put that in Star Wars.
It wasn't the Jojo Rabbit. It wasn't the pirate one. I think it was Thor. I think it was this.
It was Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder was the.
And then there was also right after that a recent TV show that he was a part of. That was supposed to be his, that bombed really bad. Yeah, that was supposed to be all of him. I can't even remember what it was right now, but Bandits. It was.
He's associated with the new Time Bandits, and then he's got our flag. Our flag means death, and neither one of those were funny.
No.
Yeah,
he has an unserious sense of humor. Like everything's it
worked once.
Yeah.
Ragnarok worked. Great movie. Besides that,
because there was a serious side to it as well. It wasn't all just screaming goats the entire time. There was a serious side to it.
It's such a bad movie too.
But I think Ernie hit it on the head tonight with the nobody. There might be, but we don't see it. There's nobody at the helm steering the ship. There's not a spokesperson. They're not a talking head on this. All we heard is Kathleen Kennedy and Simon Kinberg got together and they're doing this trilogy. Dave Filoni got together with Jon Favreau and they're doing Mandalorian Grogu. And then Brian Johnson is on his own. He has carte blanche to do, or even Land. They have carte blanche to do whatever they want. And I don't think that's how things should be working over there, right? Because
I don't think that is happening anymore. I know it hasn't been officially canceled, but the time it's over.
It's as far as the Ryan Johnson stuff and the I 100%, dude. But
again, a reason why we need a face to actually say this stuff.
Let's come break it down again. Yeah, why isn't
what's there? Yes, when we just had George, you would get excited if he was going to be on late night. Like you waited up and you know, is he talking? Is he just visiting? Like, could he be saying something? You have a face, but you had a face behind your company.
Would it hurt, honestly, for them to come at Celebration Japan and say, hey, look, we're not doing these. We're not doing this trilogy. We're dropping this. Would it hurt them to publicly come out and say, we're moving on from that? It just didn't pan out.
No, I don't think so.
You can just say, hey, here's our revised slate. We've gone through, we've decided to blah, blah, blah. We've taken this direction.
Yeah.
If you want to do that, or just say, hey, these are the 3 things we're working on that you're going to see soon.
Well, they did that.
You know what, Chris? We have so many podcast shows and YouTube shows and everything in between about it. You're right in some way, but you know what would be perfect? You open it with showing that huge screen with everything on it, and you go, hey, guys, guess what? And it just goes a wipe.
You just don't erase this one.
A Star Wars wipe and says, welcome to Disney 2025. Welcome to Celebration Japan. Here's what's going on.
If we put something on the board, that means it's in production.
Right. And a simple couple things, because then that just quiets everybody, right?
Yeah.
Because Scott made a good point. I think that's done. Right. But we don't know that for sure. You hear still, no,
because
I'm a part of it. And
Ryan Johnson says after his Knives Out trilogy, he's going to go back on Star Wars. And we're like, and look, out of all the reactions that I saw about this Simon Kinberg, again, it didn't even have to be himself, but his trilogy. Nobody was like fist pumping.
Yeah,
not as much as I thought people would. Hey, we're going to give you a new trilogy. We're like, yeah, whatever. That was the reaction. Whatever. You know, bullshit.
I don't know if there's a single writer-director combo that would have me fist pumping for Star Wars right now. Nobody has made that big of a grab to me to where I'm like, I'm in.
I haven't worried with
Dave Filoni. Unless Dave Filoni is, as chief creative officer and head of whatever story group there is, like you said, he should be the face of Star Wars, right? He should be the one out there, not Kathleen Kennedy. She's the president of the company, yes, but she's not the chief creative officer.
Right.
He is.
Right.
He's got some, and also being the heir apparent to George Lucas, he should be the one up front.
Yeah.
Doing having those conversations and putting together these story groups. And maybe he's overseeing this Simon Kinberg thing because they worked together on Rebels, right? So that we know they worked together before. Yeah. Maybe that's part of the plan.
Yeah. Maybe we're just feeling that they don't want to communicate with. They just don't want to tell us anything other than these announcements that, like what Dr. Brantley said, maybe that was a have to thing for contractual or SAG or whatever it is.
Filoni's like, hey, you know what? I worked with this guy on Rebels. People really love it. Let's bring him in, see what he can write up, but we got to pay him. So let's make this announcement, right?
Yeah. But it gets us it just loses confidence when you don't have these things come through.
This is very hard on everybody's reaction too, because of, I know I sound very old, but the times that we live in, nobody is into movies anymore as we used to line up.
Just saying that.
You pick your seat now.
Yeah,
you show up 2 minutes to go before the movie because you ordered your food, you picked your seat, everything, and our attention span is so small now. That's it. Like it's a movie. It's out
on their phones,
for a weekend. Yes, you're absolutely right. A weekend. If it does good for 2 weekends, that's kind of amazing now. Like, it's been up for 2 weeks, so it's really hard to basing on a movie. And not only that, after 2 weeks. Coming to Disney Plus next month.
How many times have we all said, I can wait?
I'll wait for it to go on streaming. And that's
doing it. Yeah. And that's the thing is
Beetlejuice is rentable now.
Yes. And that's the thing. Like, I used to go to 30 to 40 movies a year. Not just because I had to, it's because I wanted to. I really wanted it every week. I sit what's playing? Let's go.
The best example is, and I'm sorry, this is just my opinion. I honestly didn't want to listen to everybody, and I watched Joker 2. I thought it was good.
Yeah, sure.
I understand it was in his head, and how in the hell is nobody talking about the ending? I didn't see that being talked about anywhere
No.
of what happens and what went on. And it's like, you people literally did not watch it because that was a huge thing in that ending.
When it comes to HBO, everybody will watch it.
What I hear is it's something, but since this is all kind of a separate unit, I know this is Beyond the Pit, a separate universe. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
they haven't combined anything officially. There's one. There's your face. Gunn's the face of DC. How about we come out and have a little talk about where the Batman fits?
Correct, exactly. Because you did show something, but you know what I'm saying.
That would connect a greater universe.
Your musical, like you have to understand.
Doesn't.
Disney movies are musicals. Like we grew up with that, cartoons and everything. I don't see how the older audience didn't fall into it because that music scene is what's going on in his head.
Yeah.
Some people related very hard with that first movie of the emotions and everything that he's going through. That I'm sorry, the second one was still relatable as far as what's going on in your head just for a scene. Should it have just gone to HBO as a Penguin type show and each one of those because it was just the trial? Yeah. Probably would have worked better in that sense.
Also, too, I always have zero confidence in anything DC lately.
I'm talking about as a movie as a whole. I don't. But here was again, everybody beat it down. Everybody had the same answer to everything. You clearly knew people didn't watch it. And again, I'm just saying that it's our times. We wait for it to stream
for us.
Everybody goes off the people. Yeah, and it sucks we didn't get that show or the Lando or anything from it. Our times now play into such a thing. I wish we could get people back into the seats. I wish people did care and gave everything a chance no more. But you really can't because if their favorite YouTuber gave it a thumbs down, they're not even going to give it a try.
You need a big name IP like Star Wars. And you need a big time director. Like Scott was saying, who would you pump your fist for? You need a Peter Jackson, you need a Spielberg, you need somebody to jump in here and be like, I'll take it. I'll do it finally. You know, Spielberg probably wouldn't ever do it because of Lucas, but Jackson would do a great Old World Republic. We talked about it, right? It just
maybe
Mangold is one of those we would have wanted, right? Mangold, I would have taken in a heartbeat, and he's got one. So it's like, who don't?
But it's again, it's hard to fist pump about it because they cancel so much.
Yeah. That's what we know if it's going to happen. You know? That's the problem.
If they announce Peter Jackson tomorrow, I'd be like, okay, we're getting Lord of the Rings Peter Jackson, or we're getting The Hobbit Peter Jackson, because there's a difference.
The only time that we get excited is when they're actually on a press tour. Because still nowadays stuff is still even getting canceled in the middle.
Yeah.
Because the person themselves got canceled. Or somebody didn't like Peter Jackson and is pulling out a picture from 1987 of something and we got to stop the movie. That's it. You're done. It's just
there's the Peter Jackson that made studios fearful. That you guys can't see it, but anyway, that tattoo right there made the studios fearful, and he's brilliant.
I'm scared, Marco. I admire that tattoo. I am. I got you.
Rhino Hobbies. You know, it's funny because I on this like for us, we're not in the know, we're not in the boardrooms. We're not, like I said, there might be a figurehead, we don't know, but it does seem to be like announcement comes from here, an announcement comes from over there. Oh, there's one over here, and it doesn't seem like it's a same company announcing these things. So maybe Rhino Hobbies, maybe when that leadership gets into maybe. The thing is too, and if you have this much discourse in it, then you don't have the right people running the show, right? Even creative, you know what I mean? If like they obviously proved to us after the sequels that they did not have the right people in those seats. Meaning they had some great names, but even like they didn't, like I said, they did not see a fleshed out story.
There was no plan.
Yeah, and again that. There's companies out there that just don't have the right people in those seats. And eventually maybe they do. Like I said, Kevin Feige was somebody who rose up for the challenge and made a great 10 years, and
with the Kathleen Kennedy thing too, you know what? Kathleen Kennedy, for every drink up, Scarif Scuttlebutt, for every Last Jedi that Kathleen Kennedy is the CEO, not the director. She's the CEO for every Last Jedi. That's 2 drinks for you. There's also a Rebels. There's also a Rogue One. There's also an Andor. There's
100%.
an Ahsoka. There's,
Yeah.
you got to take the good with the bad. You can't just.
We gave her our.
You just leave her as the boss. You just leave her as the boss.
Yeah.
That's it.
We did a
Just
whole
sign the
episode
check.
doing graphs and everything of why she doesn't get fired, and it's because financially, the discourse, dude, you mentioned, it's good because it gets people watching it, whether they like it or hate it. They're watching.
Well,
it.
that's true too.
That's
And I
all
want
they
to
care
face
about.
because you know why too. I feel like as a fan, literally that announcement went down right, and you saw Filoni come out of a restaurant having lunch, and you go, "Really? The director of X-Men 3 movies? Wow!" And he goes, "What?
Yeah.
Who said that?"
Oh,
right?
that's
Like,
the West
like I
Wing
would
over
feel
there.
like
Yeah.
I feel like that would happen as far
Because
as
the announcement was.
where did you hear that?
Yeah, because the announcement was Kathleen Kennedy and Simon Kinberg are doing it. That's what it was. It was she announced it. Like to me, I'm sitting there going like, okay, you're a CEO. It means you're in charge, but you were inputting yourself as creative, of being a creative. You just know how to get things done. That was your whole MO. Yeah, her whole MO through her whole career was getting movies done, and it happened to be great movies.
Yes.
She had nothing to do with writing and directing and everything. She put the teams together, so
she's an operational manager.
And again, she put she put it together. But at the same time, if you put Dave Filoni as his head thing, he's the guy that should be like, look, when everybody goes to your TV and you watch Skeleton Crew, and you're going to watch Andor, and then you're going to watch the Mando Grogu movie, everything should be like this world that we're in, and everything should be feeling Star Wars, and it should come from one dude, because what she's putting together, it just seems like it's not jiving with other things like that. Like the Mandoverse, Rogue One were flukes. And it's documented. Rogue One was a side project that got greenlit because it ended up being good. Like Mando Mike mentioned, would you want to see other movies in that kind of vein pop up if they had that kind of heart and momentum leading up to it? Yeah, but not where Ernie was saying for the bottom dollar or that new generation that we made these characters, now we have to use them. We made Rey, now we have to use her. You know what I mean? Like you could have just forget all that stuff and cut it off at Rise of Skywalker, and then finish up your Mando stuff, and then you could go off this other thing. You don't have to continue her story if all these writers and everybody's leaving these projects, and they're like, I can't. Nothing's there except for Daisy Ridley was the only one that said, yeah, that's a great treatment that I read for Rey's character, but not that overall story. And so then
how
it leaves
hard
us.
can it be?
I don't know. Like I said, I think, I said, maybe these creators are coming in and they're putting too much Star Wars into it, and then if that makes sense. And then Kathleen Kennedy said, no, there's too much Star Wars. We need more of our stuff.
Diggs Figs, I love his comment. Diggs Figs, I love his comment. If we can highlight that one, that's great. I pump my fist for a Tarantino Stormtrooper Day in the Life movie. Why did I see the whole movie flash in my head?
I had it right after Order 66. Oh, go
ahead. Yeah. And you know what, too, is we never see who plays that Stormtrooper character because we just see a back of the head and he takes off his helmet and puts on a helmet. You can see him killing, like, I can see it now already. Like, here, let's go ahead and green light that one. You're absolutely right.
But he's a stormtrooper that always misses, right?
But Tarantino, since he likes to rewrite history, it'll be like that was Luke Skywalker the whole time. You know what I mean?
Well,
who just snuck on and wanted a day?
Yeah.
We need to get this guy speaking up front and being the Dave, buddy.
Yeah.
Just come on and tell
you guys make adjustments on our suggestions all the time. Like we know this. We see it.
Drink the blue milk.
I think if you want to get the like Star Wars fans and podcasts and people that are just into it, if you want us to fist pump the announcements or get excited, get behind, and because we are your promoters, we do promote these things. Just like Ernie said, there's one person's view could skew a whole collective of not seeing or seeing.
And unfortunately, it does.
Yeah, you know what? I think that taking a step back, Filoni, and coming out and announcing these things and saying that you're behind these, cool. Like Oh yeah, no, I know about the Kinberg series, and yeah, I'm right there with him. I'm going to be right there over his shoulder.
That's what he needs to do, because you know what? And I know he doesn't have a social media presence, right?
Right.
But that is one thing. Love him or hate him, Gunn has a media presence, and he lets you know what's going on all the time. He'll shoot you a picture or something. He'll tell you when the casting's going on. He lets you know what's connected, what's not. Gunn has a really good finger on the pulse of the social media side. That's what we need on our side.
They fight us, Chris. They fight us on it. And I think that's the conflict. Disney does this. Most gaming companies do. They fight us on any. They keep it so close to the chest that I feel sometimes they don't let the fandoms get excited for it or hype it up. They're like, this is ours and you don't like it, well then it's your problem that you don't like it.
You've got to be able to, as a social media person, you've got to be able to you could type it out as much as you want, but then delete it. Don't hit enter. Just get vent to yourself. Don't engage. If somebody's going to fight you, don't freaking engage. And I know for a fact, having this podcast, it's tough to do that sometimes. I want to bite back sometimes, but you just can't. It's just let it go.
And what we said before, what Chris has said before, again, curtail those interviews on hyping your project, hyping Star Wars in general. You're here, you're in a Star Wars movie, then act like it, right? Yeah. Don't say I'm Queen Bee, King, whatever.
I'm going to change this and make this and
And if somebody asks you a leading question that you know is going to be controversial, just laugh. You don't have to answer. You don't have to respond to it. Yeah.
We're not talking about that.
I'm not going there.
I'm not going there. I have my. We'll save that for Starlight Digest.
I'm not the writer.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, anyway, I don't need all my actors and all this to be like hardcore Star Wars fans, but to understand what they're the
galaxy they're playing in.
Well, to understand the focus is not on them as people.
Harrison Ford and Hamill and Fisher and Guinness, they weren't Star Wars fans in 70s.
No, they weren't.
So, they'd never even seen an episode by the time the movies came out.
They had never seen it, right? So they did fine.
Exactly. Like I said, just be somebody who was honored to be a part of Star Wars, and because the Star Wars community, honestly, we don't care about your perfume you're selling. We don't care about the book you're selling. We're saying like you're in this thing, and we're talking about that character that we're seeing on the screen.
Don't give a damn about your
agenda. I'm not dehumanizing you. I'm just saying that you have a time and place for everything. Do not use that platform to push your own views and agenda. Talk about what you just filmed.
It's so funny because so many people will be like, I'm going to use my platform to promote this, and this. And I'm with you. I'm like, shut the fuck up. And don't use this platform for nothing. But
you guys know
save it for the Oscar stage. Save it for the Oscar stage.
You guys know me.
There you go. Earn it on stage. There you go, dude.
Exactly. I can care less.
60 seconds in front of everybody instead of in front of me. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
and when you hear that music, you have to stop.
You gotta stop. You gotta stop.
Yeah.
Not just talk faster. You gotta talk.
I think that, like I said, I think the main thing to take away from what all these things is that we're not excited about announcements, as we would have been 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever. Just because, because now we're like, dude, I don't believe you. Leave me alone. Like until it's a thing, it's not a thing. I don't care. Like I said, you come and tell me, we're tapping Peter Jackson to make a film. I'm like, bullshit. And that's not our fault. Okay, it's not you made us this way.
You can only cry Wampa so many times.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But at the same time, like I said, as much as I say there might be a line in the sand of like this might be Star Wars for this generation, Star Wars for this generation, I'm still going to see it. I just might not see it 10 times. You know what I mean? Mando Mike,
what?
$10 super chat. It was either this or McDonald's Happy Meal. Good choice for your heart and your health and your liver. Thank you.
Bought me a Happy Meal.
Yeah. You guys are funny thinking a Happy Meal's only $10.
Yeah. Thank you, Mando. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Mando, Mike.
Yeah, Basil, fool me once. And again, this is like fool me. Look, guys, you only get 13 times. 14 more times.
I'm honestly thinking it conservatively 13 times.
No,
Right?
At least.
seriously, there's like I said. Now again, Rogue Squadron was in,
let's do it.
Rogue
Hold on.
Squadron
Here we
was
go.
out. Now it's
Rogue
back
Squadron.
in.
Fool me
Boba
once,
Fett.
Fool
Yeah.
me twice.
Right.
Fool me twice, you can't get fooled again.
The point is, fool me twice, you just can't get fooled
Lando.
again.
Droids. Waititi.
Yep.
Johnson. That was times 3. So that's 3, 4,
Yeah,
5,
that's
6,
a
7,
yeah.
8. I'm only on 8 to be honest.
Eight
so.
projects.
I'm-
Eight
I said
projects that
13.
we've.
And there probably were more. I'm
And
just
here's the
not
thing:
remembering them.
we've spent time theory crafting those projects. We spent time putting
We
it
should
in.
charge for our time. Oh, there you go,
Oh.
dude. That's what I'm talking about.
See,
There you go.
that $10 just bought you a slate.
That's
Oh
right.
no, this is all new stuff coming up though. This is like legit. This isn't stuff I'm scared of leaving yet.
Yeah,
Well,
like Sean Levy movie.
The droid
you
story
know.
probably isn't going to happen. Lando, I still think is going to happen.
I
I don't. I do not think that Lando is going to happen. We've heard also, let me see. Okay, Skeleton Crew finally. Acolyte season 2.
But,
Yeah, Eclipse
that-
is almost
yeah.
but
gone.
why do you think Lando won't happen?
Because I think it's more him and hawing, and like we want to, we just don't have. I think they're just they gave it up to Glover to do it, and I just don't think he's going to get to it, man. I just think the time's
he
going to
just
pass.
takes his time on everything. He
Well-
does his music, then he does his this, he does his that. And right now
Yeah.
he's about to hit his movies again. I think we're going to get this. It doesn't matter about Billy D anymore.
No,
And
no,
it doesn't
I
matter-
get that.
It
I
doesn't
just
matter how old Glover gets because
It's just
going to
be time pass, man. Like,
the 80s.
I think
Right.
My thing is, I think it's just going to be out of sight, out of mind, and they're just going to drop it. That's my opinion on that. Yeah, he might want to, but I just don't think it's ever going to come to a real concentrated effort onto it.
But
I
they
think
have a logo.
Yeah, I mean, how old is that? 3 years now?
More probably.
That was on a slate quite some time ago.
2020, I think.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
It's a
You know what I'm
while.
saying? And now it's like we'll get to it when we
saying.
get to it. I still want to. Lucas has given me basically like, here, just go off to the and write it and then come back.
Come
to
back
it.
when you're ready.
But
is
do you
what they
think
have,
like they're
because
going to
it's not
accept what
connected.
because the environment changes all the time? So
Yeah, no, they'll accept what he
whatever.
does.
So that's my concern. It's not that I don't want it, and I just don't think. I think it's like too much time's going to pass. We're just going to look. We're just not going to get to it.
Well, the thing is, that's why this one in particular to me just doesn't matter as far as when it gets done, whether it's yesterday or 10 years from now.
Sure.
Because his age won't play a factor. They can age him up or down, whatever they need to be in the story. It's not going to impact anything more than say Solo would. You know, it's just going to be a fun one-off story. I don't see any issue with ever,
especially if it's animated, right? If they do it animated,
Oh,
then
man.
I mean that's something
That changes everything. But I'm thinking it's going to be live action, and I want to see a live action, even a show. I love Glover as Lando.
You know that they're retracting a little bit from their because like next year we have Andor season 2, and that's it. I don't think we're getting anything else the rest of 2025,
unless we get a surprise. When they do surprise stuff, that all of a sudden,
well, Visions 3. I'm telling you that.
Don't be lame, dude.
I know. Well, that's it.
They've also mentioned not only visions, but also Tales of the Jedi is supposedly
Yeah. Especially if they do that whole thing of Tales of the Bounty Hunter, Tales from Mos Eisley.
Do that. Give us Tales stuff. I'm cool.
I love that. Yeah.
I would like some live action Tales stuff.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And we've also not heard anything else regarding the proposed Asajj Ventress spinoff that we've been hemming and hawing about as well. So,
well,
that's just been a tease for like nothing. Like you ain't seen nothing yet,
I guess.
Or this
Yeah.
is just
Well,
the beginning. And then,
Star Wars Celebration Japan is right before Andor season 2, right? So you got Celebration Japan, and then you have Andor right on its heels as a premiere, and you'll go through April, May, probably into June. So I do expect something of concrete whatever for the rest of the year leading up in 2026, the return of the movies, right? I think they're going to have some more. I think they're going to spend almost like a year and a half with nothing to see, but more hype, more, that stuff that we're used to. A year and a half of that hyping up that Mando Grogu. I think the return to the theater is going to be a bigger thing marketing wise, world-wise, or as far as like that we're gonna see it. Happy Meals again. Maybe that's just what I want, but maybe we'll see it more like clothing, Target. We'll have more of that marketing campaign because it's the return to the theater, and it is a breath. It'll be like that new beginning kind of stuff that we're talking about. That might propel things going forward. Because again, we have a celebration, and celebration is not known for not doing anything. They do a lot of announcements and they do a lot of secret footage, and it will
never be in a Happy Meal.
Yeah, I know.
But it will be a Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, and KFC.
Exactly.
Yes, it will.
All right. Well, I think, like I said, guys, I'll end it. Like I said, I think it's a line in the sand, but I'm going to see it. I just don't know if it's going to
see them all. I just don't
be
know
something where I live it, But we'll see. We'll see.
Well, we don't know until it happens, right?
Exactly.
I think what I've just come to terms with after Beetlejuice specifically was it doesn't exist anymore. That feeling that I'm chasing is not going to be caught at a movie made now. And
no, because especially if there's 30 years in between the original and a part 2,
and especially if you're not using the right soundtrack.
Amen.
Honest to God, I mean, I need.
No, you're right.
Wars theme.
You're right.
Yeah.
And we're going to end with that because we have one more show before Skeleton Crew, and
Yep.
All right, guys. Well,
I'm ready.
Everybody,
Bowie on episode 1. We'll have Zeppelin on episode 2. We'll probably get into some Eminem by episode 4.
This is going to be your favorite show, Chris. Yeah, I think this is going to be your favorite show.
Oh
honestly.
No, I already have it. Okay, if we got Major Tom in the first one, I think the second one should be Metro.
Third, oh my God! Perfect. It's perfect.
Yes. If we don't get Take on Me, I'm going to be pissed.
Oh, jeez.
I really think should be like your mid-season breaker, like maybe 5 or 6. Yeah.
When they're flying through space, we get something like a Top Gun soundtrack hit in there.
Danger Zone, baby.
Danger Zone.
Danger Zone flying in Huttese. I mean, let's just do it all. Let's just, if you're gonna go for it,
if we're going that way, don't tease it. Just do it.
Yeah,
right?
You know what? I have more respect for it if you just go balls in.
Just do it. Nods like Danger Zone is cool. Another chase scene, but throw a little Eurythmics in there as well.
There we go.
Chase scene.
Sweet dreams, baby. Sweet dreams.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is
or that here comes the rain again. What is that? Is that the?
That's the Eurythmics too.
Yeah, I know. What's that song though? It's not Sweet Dreams. But 99 Red Balloons, perfect. The German version, of course, because that is already foreign to us.
That's another whole chase scene. That could be the song out of the restaurant where they flip the table.
Is that the title here? That's not what the title is.
Yeah.
How do you translate German into Huttese though? That's
it almost sounds like I said you don't even have to because you could. It's foreign to our ears right now, so it's perfect.
You know what?
Yeah, Basil. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, we could do a whole show on just 80s new wave.
Let's go.
Yeah. All right.
All right. We'd want to hear in Huttese. Yes.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I want to Depeche Mode and Cure and Huttese. I'll take.
That should have been a thing from 1984.
Set up my Spotify to put them all on there just for fun for parties.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you,
everybody.
I know, but
it's too late, Chris.
We can still go. But anyway, thank you everybody in the chat. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Mando, for those super chats. Thank you everybody who's been participating. I know that I did try to I did stress it was going to be sad, but I wasn't that as talking to you guys. I think I'm more into it, but at the same time I have my reservations, and I think I would have been the one to be like, no guys, you're all wrong, just relax. And now they've made me very cynical in the aspect of announcements anymore. I'm just
you're kind of an ass.
Well, yeah, I'm kind of an ass tonight, right?
I mean,
so
really, brought my mood straight down. I came in here ready to party, man. I'm like, a new trilogy, Ray, are we serious?
Nobody said that. Nobody said that.
We might get Finn back. Maybe he'll have force powers. I mean,
I fixed it so Filoni now has his own spot on our show.
Yeah,
if you ever want to talk to Filoni again, he's here. We can just so
all right, guys. Well, Ernie, take it away. I'm not gonna say another word.
Take it away, Ernie.
We honestly are excited. We are. We have one more episode, before Skeleton Crew. So stick with us. If you need to catch up on old shows, we got you covered. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications, and hit all so you don't miss when we're on, like Monday nights, Wednesday nights, reviews, and so many past shows in between. It's crazy how much content we have for you. And if that's not enough for you, we're on all social media as well, like all of it. You want 24/7 Star Wars talk? We have a Discord. We have the Facebook Sarlacc Central that you can go on. I'm telling you, we're like basically all you need for all your Star Wars news, for reals. It's not always like this, and Chris is usually nicer. You've just caught him on an off night. That's all right.
It's when someone comes back and says, "I'm going to be mean tonight," and Chris is like, "Look at this.
I got this."
Yeah,
nobody could be mean but me.
I was trying to be nice. I'm just, you guys. We get into the Skeleton Crew's earthly shit. It's going to get me worked.
Yeah.
It'll be a good show.
For the replay crew, hit that thumbs up and drop your comment below and let Chris know which 80 song should be in there. Don't spoil the ending, the very last episode, though, because we all know it's an Ewok doing Sex Dwarf. So that's going to be amazing. Yeah. Yeah, that's the best.
That's an awful song.
That's going to be great.
I want a Rodian in there singing to me, doing a Careless Whisper. If we could do that.
Careless Whisper.
That'd be good. Yeah, let's just get going. Let's just get this all.
It's Wald.
Yeah.
Wald is singing.
We need one of those.
It's a okay. Wald and Kitster have reformed Wham, but it's in Arabesh and there we go.
Why would you choose those two characters in Wham? Why, Scott? Why?
It works though.
Yeah,
I can already see it. I see the album cover that they're promoting.
They're more like Hall & Oates, but it's like...
no. Wald is George Michael, and Andrew Ridgely is Kitster. That's it, man. There's your Wham right there.
We need like one of those late night infomercials, like your favorite hits and hot teas.
Well, I was gonna say that, and don't be pissed, Chris, when Skeleton Crew starts in the earthly home and he hits the alarm clock because playing on the radio is "Wake Me Up Before You Go."
What I'm really mad about is, you know how like in the old movies they would use like old stuff from the wars and things like that, right?
Yeah,
they're gonna use props from they're gonna use a CD player. I mean, it's gonna be like some bullshit. You see a Walkman, you sit there and it's gonna skip or some nonsense.
I mean, the plans to the Death Star were basically on a floppy disk, so they very well could.
It was a floppy,
This is 40 years or 30 years in the future, or however many years. I mean, it could be a disc.
It really worries me.
I know.
This is Earth. It's Earth. I almost forwarded you some.
But what did we say though? It's Earth backwards though. So what is it?
Hetia.
Hetra. Heta.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, it's Earth. They're doing it.
Let's get back to wrapping this up before I get angry.
You can dance if you want to. You can leave your world behind.
All right, guys.
If you don't dance, don't you want to see an Ewok doing that?
I do actually.
Yeah, without a problem.
And men without helmets, because they've got all the helmets on this.
Oh man!
All right, guys. With that, Scott.
Men at work with
everybody.
Imperial helmets on.
No, that's Devo.
Devo. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Whip it good.
Jesus.
This is Grand Admiral Thrawn. You are listening to the Sarlacc Digest. What a fascinating play on words.